Good morning.
Thank you very much.
Good morning, Mr. Onyema. Can you hear us from the studio here? Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you very well, Dr. Abati.
Hello?
Good morning, Mr. Onyema. No, I can't hear you.
I can hear you very well.
Hello, Mr. Onyema. We can't hear you.
I can hear you, all of you.
Okay, so...
I can hear all of you.
Okay, we can hear you now.
Very good. Well, quickly. When we had issues in South Africa, you have to evacuate Nigerians. When there was COVID, you have to evacuate Nigerians from India and elsewhere. You keep doing this. And yet this same country has not deemed it necessary to give you national honor. What motivates you? Now you're saying you want to help Nigeria evacuate people from Sudan. On this program last week, Professor Bolaji Akinyemi said, I look forward to Alan Onyema helping to evacuate Nigerians, but they have to pay him. What motivates you to keep giving?
Well, to me, it's even a privilege. To be allowed to contribute my quota to my country. In fact, I'm a good adherent of what can you do for your nation and not what your country can do for you. So I thought that Nigeria is a country of about 378 ethnic nationalities. This is supposed to be our strength. The diversity we have today is an envy to all. It pains me that we have not been able to weave the country together in over 60 years of our independence. So it pains me. So whatever I have to do to encourage people to come together, to promote unity and at the same time encourage broad nationalism as against ethnic and religious nationalism which we have in this country. That is why I do it. I do it because I love this country. I believe we could be better than what we are having now. 378 ethnic nationalities. This is a source of strength. Meanwhile, we are not harnessing that. Instead, this blessing God has given us has become an albatross of a kind, and it pains me. So at all times, I like using my God's given blessings to see how I could help my country. It's not about evacuation alone. I laid down my life in the Niger Delta for this country. To me, to date, that is my greatest service to this nation, because Boko Haram would have been a child's play. But I laid down my life and got Niger Delta sorted, and today everybody's enjoying. People have forgotten all that. So a lot of people are talking about my intervention during evacuation, during the COVID time, Thailand, India, Malaysia, Indonesia, because Nigerians were destroying our embassies over there, and I felt that was a great disservice to the image of this country, and I sent in my jets to go and bring them back home during COVID. I feel personally honored to be allowed to do that. So it's not a publicity stunt, because I've been doing it right from secondary school through the university, trying to do things. My own activism is centered on trying to bring Nigeria together, because I believe it's something that we should all be proud of. However, it pains me that my gesture has turned and has started causing some kind of problems everywhere in the social media. People are trying to bring ethnic angle into it. For those who are supporting me, the Igbos who are rooting for me that an Igbo man is going to do this, do that, please stop. For other people from other tribes in Nigeria other than Igbo who have something or the other, or one or two things to say about it, stop. It's a Nigerian thing. It's not Igbo, it's not Yoruba, it's not Hausa. I don't want a good gesture to be turned into ethnic debacle. It pains me.
Well,
it makes me
well
uncomfortable to the extent that I might not do this again, because I want to promote unity, not to cause disunity with my gestures.
Absolutely. And I do hope that these talks would not discourage you from doing good work in Nigeria. We need more Nigerians like you to do more, in terms of social responsibility, helping out where needed. But I'd like to ask you, I want to assume that you're working at least with some form of support or collaboration with the Foreign Affairs Office of Nigeria. What kind of government support have you had since you made the offer to help evacuate Nigerians from Sudan? And when is the time frame? And finally, in terms of that question, for Nigerians who might be watching from Sudan, how do they access? You already have the numbers set in, or how do they access this service you're giving for free?
Okay, I've been on the phone with the government officials. I've spoken with the Foreign Affairs Minister 2 days ago, and I've spoken with the Nigeria's ambassador to Egypt, who is the one covering Sudan too. I've spoken with them, and this morning I was on phone to the DG of Onyema, the National Emergency Authority or something. I've spoken with him, and we are planning to deploy on Friday. I wanted to do it today, if possible, but I was told it will take 2 days before they get to Egypt from Sudan by road. Last night they told me the buses had left, but it will take 2 days. I wanted to deploy this night. So I'll be deploying on Friday, and maybe on Thursday night I might send about 3 jets out to Egypt. If possible, I just pray no country will delay us with overflight permit issues, so that we can get there on time and start moving our people immediately. I may send in about 3 planes at a time.
To ask, so all this while
the evacuation will take place. It will start on Friday.
Okay. So all this what you've always done, is it that with no input from them, it's just you doing it of your own accord, putting yourself up on the line for it? You know, because this is national service, and this is heroism when you look at it, you know. So this one, you're deploying 3 jets. Are they going to pay you for it, or it's just your own volition, what you can do back for the country you love?
I told them, and just as you must have read in the media, it's free of charge.
They're not paying you anything, no recourse to nothing from the federal government. It's just you giving back.
Yes, I've never asked anybody to give me a dime, and nobody has offered me.
Well, Mr. Onyema, our main subject is Sudan, right? Evacuation of Nigerians that are stranded, and your contribution to help stranded Nigerians out of Sudan. But let's talk about the airline industry. There's so much there. You know, your association, Airline Operators of Nigeria, of which you are vice chairman, has been talking about ease of doing business, you know, government making things easier within the aviation industry, and then the threat from, you know, Ethiopian Airlines with regard to Basa. What are your expectations as we prepare for a new administration on May 29?
Well, not just in aviation, the ease of doing business in Nigeria is very, very, I don't know, it's not something we should celebrate. This government, when they came to power in 2015, made it a point of duty to make sure the ease of doing business. I think it was the vice president that, it was anchored in the office of the vice president then. At first, things were working, but after some time, issues nosedived. It has to be improved. You bring in, for example, in aviation, spare parts on AOG basis, aircraft on ground all over the world. You don't need to pay before you take that part out, because an aircraft is treated like a human being. So an aircraft on ground is like dying, so you need to resuscitate it immediately. All over the world, you bring in these parts, you take them out immediately, and make sure the aircraft is flying. Over here, sometimes you bring it in, and that part might be there for another 2 weeks. The aircraft is grounded for those 2 weeks, so a lot of revenue. Sometimes there's this one they call the one that has to do with the Office of the National Security Advisor. It has to do with some dangerous parts on the airplane. Like some parts of the plane could be termed explosive. So you need end user certificate. I remember one of my airplanes being on ground for 2 months before we were able to get there to bring in the parts.